Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Lessons Learned, the dumbest thing I've ever done with money. My name is Suzanne, and I'm the head coach at G.R.A.C.E Financial Coaching. And my friend Chance Jackson is with us today. Chance is a retired petroleum engineer, now working as a full-time Ramsey financial coach out of Texas. Chance learned the importance of financial wellness while navigating through employment and layoffs in the oil field. And he understands how hard it is to save money and keep track of all the bills every single month. Chance's mission is to help people identify where their money is going and create a plan to keep more of it so they can enjoy vacations now and retirement later. Oh, I love that. His average client pays off $8,000 in debt in the first 6 months alone. And Chance truly believes that when you worry about money less, you enjoy your life more. Chance, that sounds like some real hard work. $8,000 in the first 6 months.
It's all them. I'm just flying the plane. I'm not even flying the plane. I'm navigating. They're flying the plane.
You're like the co-pilot, but you're kind of telling them which direction we're headed.
I'm the backseat driver. That's me.
I love it. So how did we go from petroleum engineer to financial coach?
We started about 16 years ago. I was working in the oil field, and I got a job with a pretty good company in Oklahoma City at the time, making just what I thought was humongous money. Well, we were spending humongous 0.3 money, and my wife has always stayed home and homeschooled our kids. I was the only one bringing in the money. She saw it going out, and she was freaking out because we wasn't talking money doing a budget. But she was freaking out. Well, she found this Dave Ramsey guy that I didn't know who he was 16 years ago. Financial peace, yeah. Okay, let's take the class. And me being an engineer, I've always been kind of weird. And I heard debt snowball, cash envelopes. Really? This sounds weird. I want in. So we jumped in this thing, and we did all the way to baby step 7. We're baby step 7 twice because we moved down here to Houston from Oklahoma City. Houses are more expensive down here. We did it again. So we've been baby step 7 twice. While I was in Oklahoma City, I went to work one Thursday after lunch, and they said I don't work there anymore. We're baby step 7. So freak out mode goes away. I think they're not taking our house away. They're not taking our vehicles. We got food for groceries. Everybody should do this. My gosh, when you go to sleep at night and that weight is off the breadwinner's chest.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Anybody can do this if you want it bad enough. We've been doing it 16 years. Why don't I show people how to do this? You mean they'll pay me to do this? This is better than corporate America. I'm going to show y'all how we did it. We did everything except foreclosure, bankruptcy, and divorce. Divorce is close, time or two, but foreclosure, bankruptcy, and divorce never happened. Everything else happened. So, man, I can walk you guys through this. I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
This is cool stuff. So that's why I do this. And man, I left corporate America because it got to where it wasn't engineering anymore. It was just change the name on the spreadsheet. No, I'm going to go do something I can make a difference at. So
yeah, I love it. What was the reaction of your coworkers on that day when you all found out you weren't going to work the next day?
Well, nobody knew till after the fact, because that's when you walk in the boss's office and HR is sitting there and you're like, yeah, okay. And then security takes you out to the elevator. Nobody knew till after the fact. And then, the corporate will leave it right now. And then they box all your stuff up and give it to you later. But I got emails and calls from some of the coworkers that, dude, what happened? You know what? And we worked a 980, which means every other Friday off. So you stagger that. So some of my coworkers are off the next day and some weren't. And this was late on a Thursday afternoon. So calls trickled in. Mm-hmm. What's going on? What happened? Yo, what the flip? And everybody found out.
Right.
But it was just, what are you going to do? And a couple of them were on the Dave Ramsey plan also. So they knew how it worked. Very few of them. And they said, man, praise God that you're in baby step 7. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's one less thing I got to worry about. So I'm not at Home Depot right now working because I'm broke. I'm doing homework to find the next company I want to work for because I got time.
Nice. So you went from full-time engineering to Home Depot. What, did you start right away? Did you give yourself a week off? What'd you do?
No, I didn't go to Home Depot. I'm just saying I had the 6-month fund in place, so I didn't have to go to Home Depot. I just did homework. Where's the next place I want to work? Well, a company found me down here in Houston, so we moved Oklahoma City to Houston, worked the oil field for another, 7 or 8 years.
Mhm.
and hit the other oil field cycle again about 2014. I rode
Mm.
that roller coaster for a few years, and by 20, right in the middle of the Rona, I think it's like summer of 2021. It's just like, it was like, I'm
Yeah.
done with this.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? I'm done. So I went full time coaching in 2021, but for 20 years I rode the oil field roller coaster.
Yeah. Definitely a roller coaster. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it
What,
was.
so your wife homeschooled your kids. How many kids you guys have?
We got two. We got a son. He's 20. He's in college now. Our daughter's 15. She went back to government school.
Mhm.
Um, when you get to a teenager, high school, man, if you want to go, that's your choice. We let them make that choice. She wanted to go, so she's in government school right now, having the time of her life, loving it. And our son, he's here at the house doing online college. He'll
Ah,
start his major work in next fall at Sam
right.
Houston State, right up the road here in Huntsville, Texas. And
Nice.
he's going to be SWAT. He's going to work for Houston PD as a SWAT right down the road here. Like, geez.
Nice.
So he's going to.
That is a career. You thought the oil field was a roller coaster.
Well, he can relieve his frustrations because, like he said, in SWAT, the thing about SWAT, when we get there, it's too late. You're probably not coming out alive. I'm like, well, that's
Yeah, right.
a
My
good way to
grandfather
put
was
it.
my grandfather was a sergeant at NYPD, and he finished up his career in what they referred to as emergency services unit. And back in the day, there really wasn't a differentiation. So some of that
Mm-hmm.
SWAT activity was what they were in charge of, as well as
Yeah.
talking suicidal people
Yeah,
off a
exactly.
bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good leader. He's a natural leader, but that's his thing is when we get there, yeah, you're probably not coming out alive. I'm like,
Yeah, it's probably we're in the 90th percentile at that point, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So 16. So let's make sure we clarify. Baby step 7 is when you are done paying off your house. You
Mm-hmm.
are debt free. We are mortgage free.
Mm-hmm.
But we went through it twice. So once in Oklahoma City. So what
Yes.
was that like the first time?
The first time was great. This was back in the early days. I think it was 2008. It was 2000. Yeah, it was 2008, right before the whole world just went to kaplunk in the Great Recession or the housing crisis or whatever. Well, right before that happened, we had our house paid for. This was in the early days. A little bit before that, we went out to headquarters and saw Dave at the old headquarters on
Mhm.
Mallory Lane in the old building. And this is before everything got so automated. And he come out and met us, and they said, "Hey, since you come and saw us, and you're getting ready to do your debt-free screen pretty soon, since you come and saw us, man, we'll let you schedule a time." So,
Oh.
hey, this is back before they had the online scheduler, so they scheduled the time. They called us on that Friday. They only did it on Fridays. They called us and sent us the audio clip. I still have the audio clip right now on my computer of this call talking to Dave doing the debt-free scream at the house in Oklahoma City, and talking to Dave about, I always ask, what's the hardest part of the whole process? And
Right.
I told him, hardest part was, dude, making the budget. I hate budgets. And Dave being Dave says, but dude, you're an engineer. I'm like, I hate making budgets. It was
Oh,
great.
that's great.
All the
That's
people at
great.
work, I still had my job at the time, so it was before they let me go, and everybody at work heard it, and it was just like, man, that's our guy right there. He's debt free, yay! And it was fun. It was a party. It was on
Yeah.
my Friday. It was on my Friday, not at the office. It was my Friday off, so I was at the house playing. It was fun. I mean, it
That's
was right
awesome.
before 4th of July. We took the mortgage, taped it to one of these humongoloid, overpriced, like 50-shot mortar fireworks things, and and we just sit out on the front porch with a Dos Equis and watch the mortgage go up in flames about 50
Oh,
times.
you can get those things in places like Oklahoma and Texas.
Dude, it was the bin for 9,000 a fire. We paid way too much for it. We thought, so we're
Right.
debt free. We
Oh,
did
that's
it.
great.
It was
All
fun.
right. So then time number 2. So then we leave Oklahoma. We're going to Houston. And what was that next mortgage? How much of a mortgage did you take on that second time?
It was like a modified HELOC. It was still a mortgage. It was a corporate move. We got a mortgage for like 75,000 or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Cool.
But at the end of the day, our house, right now, thanks to the people moving here in droves into Montgomery County, Texas, at the time, I think we paid like $290 for the house, and we had like a 70,000 mortgage on it. So we took most everything from the house in Oklahoma here. now we got a paid for house in Oklahoma. I mean, in Texas right here, this house, last time we saw the appraisal, I think it was appraised like over 400.
Oh yeah.
So,
And let me tell you, I have been lamenting this for the last 60 days. Everyone I talk to is getting an increase in, if they have a mortgage, they're getting an increase in their escrow, whether homeowners insurance is costing more, taxes are going up. We just appraise the neighborhood every 2 years. Oh my gosh, everyone's escrow has been going up. So it is, some people like to hold on to their mortgage for that tax benefit, but let me tell you something, it's not worth it.
Well, I've been working really close with my tax ELP, and if I remember right, that's going away. The Trump tax cuts, or the jobs and tax cuts, or whatever it's called, the mortgage interest deduction, I think it's going away if it hasn't already in 2024 or 2023. I think it goes away. So it's not even, it was a bad idea to start with, but now it's plumb gone. And I'm like you, I'm telling people, you got a mortgage, let's go ahead and start phasing in for next year, because your escrow is going to go up next year no matter where you live. And it could be substantial. If you're in California, New York, marketplaces, it's going up. You better get ready, because it's going to be a shock. They're going to max out that 10% or whatever their threshold is. Insurance went through the roof this year.
Yes.
We pay our annual insurance in April, and I was like, what happened?
Yeah, I've got a client in New York, and she woke up one day and she's like, I think it was like $330. And I'm from New York originally. I know exactly where she is. She's in a great town, good school districts. And she's like, she's like, do I have like, she literally had to second guess herself. Like, do I have an adjustable rate mortgage? I've been paying on this house for 15 years. Like, she could not figure out why it went up so much. And it took 2 weeks to get someone on the damn phone. And finally she did. And it was escrow. It was increase in property value, taxes, and then homeowner. They were anticipating homeowners insurance going up. So they were pre-anticipating that. And so she tacked on another $330 a month to a mortgage she's been paying for 15 years.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing, you can't protest it, because everybody lost their stinking mind last year, and housing prices went way up.
Right.
There's no basis to protest it. That's what the market price is today. You're good luck.
And I think if I remember correctly, she's in a different town than where my dad's house was. But when my dad was still with us, I think he grieved the property taxes like every year.
Oh, I had that.
Every year.
Me too, because when you're not escrowing on mortgage, you got to save for it. We got to write that check every January. I'm like, you got to be.
But the grievance process would take half of the following year, so it's not even like it's something that she can call them and say, whoa, let me file a grievance and get this done in 14 days. No, my dad got the bill, paid it, and then grieved it. And then 6 months later I'm pretty sure he said he always got something back. Maybe 1 or 2 times they were like, no, sorry, bud. But who has the time, and energy to grieve their taxes every year? I certainly don't.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I mean, mark to market says that's the going rate. I have no basis to protest, so I'm not going to waste my time.
Right, especially now. Back, before he passed away a couple of years ago. So before that, you had more of a standing to say, whoa. If this mortgage increase had happened to my client 5 years ago, we'd all be looking at this town like they'd lost their damn minds. Now you've got no leg to stand on.
No.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Yes, exactly.
You were in a house.
Let me tell you, I've got a couple clients that are looking to buy houses, and we'll call it my professional opinion. How professional it is, we'll determine later. They're not ready. They're not. And we had a couple repairs on our house. I had $8,300 foundation repair. When the guy first came out, he said this could be up to $42,000. And so I keep using that over and over with some of these people. Are you guys sure you want to start looking for a house right now? Are you guys sure? This is the life of a homeowner. You have to have a significant emergency fund. You have to have an emergency fund for your emergency fund for your emergency fund when you go to buy your first house. Yeah.
And when they start saying foundation repair, that's ancient Latin for run.
Yeah. Luckily, we weren't in the 42,000 range. We ended up at 8,300, but man, writing those 2 checks was still painful. And we had the money saved. This was just getting paid with a personal check. It's really scary when you go into a house as a homeowner for the first time and that's not caught on the inspection,
Yeah.
or it was caught on the inspection and you've got to do it anyway because the seller's not doing it. It's crazy. So home ownership is not always all it's cracked up to be. If you're ready, it is. But if you're not ready, man, it's coming for you.
It's tough. It's a tough battle with your clients. It's always because the emotional state is now. It's a battle. I mean, it's tough. You just, are you going to die on that hill? It's a hard one.
Yes, exactly. So I know that paying off those 2 mortgages was certainly not the dumbest thing you've ever done, Chance. So what would you say is the dumbest thing you have done with your money in your lifetime?
Oh, wow. So bold of you to assume that I've peaked. I mean, there's so much time. We're going to need a sequel to this show already.
Yes.
I can tell.
We'll bring you back next week and the following week and the following week and the following week.
This is going to be like a mini series right here. The dumbest things Chance has done with money. Well, there's so many, but one that always sticks out is, back in high school, I was this genius. I guess I grew up in a small farming community in the Texas Panhandle, 3,000 people. My neighborhood has more people than that here. But anyway, I knew everybody in town. Everybody in town knew me. Well, I didn't go to the Baptist church. I went to the First Christian across the street. I went with my best friend, the Baptist, to the ski trips. We always took ski trips. Cool, this is great. We're going to go skiing one spring break. And, I didn't have the money. Well, I knew the banker at the bank where I bank at. I'm like, cool, this guy's a pretty cool guy. Well, he's a first responder. He's like, to tell you what, I'll loan you the money to go skiing that you want because you come and ask me for it. But you gotta take EMT class. I want you. It's a small town. We're shorthanded. I want you to be just a basic EMT. You're 18. You can do that, or 17. You can do that. You're legal. Go through this basic EMT class we're offering here in town at the fire station. And if you'll do that, I'll loan you the money to go skiing. I thought, wow, this guy's pretty cool. He's gonna loan me money to go skiing. It was $400. Okay, this was like 1988. I was like a junior in high school. This is big money in '88. It was like a long time ago. So he loans me $400 to go to skiing. I went skiing, spent every bit of it. Had time of my life. I had free money because I had $400 burning a hole in my pocket. Man, we were living the dream, and just this is cool stuff. I get back home and I go through that EMT class and I hated it. I'm like, I don't want to be a first responder. No. So I wasted all that time going through the class and I flunked out. I took the final test at the end. I flunked it. I was like, I wasted all this time and I flunked. So I'm not even an EMT, which is good because I didn't want to be an EMT. I was like, no. But hey, the good thing is it got me $400 of free money. So I'm like paying this loan back over not long. I paid it back over 6 months or something. It wasn't like a short-term thing. It wasn't a big deal. But I thought, really? Not only did you borrow money to go snow skiing,
right?
But as part of the deal, you agreed with your banker / first responder to be a first responder with him.
What would that look like today if you walked into a bank and the banker would be able to get you to do something in order to be approved for a personal loan? I'm trying to think of what the equivalent in 2023 would be.
Nothing, because the banker is not going to convince me to take out a personal loan for nothing, period. I know the guy. We hung out together, went to church together, and he's like a pretty cool guy. But I always said, dude, just because your banking practices are all jacked up doesn't mean I hate you. You're still a good guy. I'm not borrowing money from you. No.
Wow.
I got a
crazy.
job. Yeah. It was fun. It wasn't his fault. He wasn't duping me into nothing. I was like, dude, man, can I have a loan to go snow skiing? I don't have that much credit, but you know me, you know my dad, you know my pampa, my money's here, all our money's here, you know us. So he threw in the whole EMT thing. I was like, all right, dude, you got me. Ski trips like next month. All right, can we get this done? I'm like, oh my gosh.
So how did we pay for the ski trip the following year?
Well, we wrote a check for it. That's how we did it the following year. Like, I had a job. So I was like, instead of spending my money on weekends at the, when adult libations or whatever you want to call it, how about we just save that money? And next spring break, we wrote a check for that stuff. And I went to have fun snow skiing. And yeah.
So not to bore you with those budgets and those Excel sheets that you hate, but That was your very first sinking fund.
Pretty much it was. I mean, I was just, the money's in the account. I'm going to take it from the checking account, put it in the savings account. I'm going to hang on to that stuff because it's not going to be that hard to save this money. I got a whole year to do it.
Right.
Dude, this is easy. We're talking like $50 a month. Heck, even in fees, I can save $50 a month. That's easy.
Yes. And to go back to your point about how much that was back in 1980, the same trip, if it was $400 today, would cost $1,460.39. It is a cumulative rate of inflation of 265%.
Yeah.
So that ski trip has inflated 265%.
Here's the deal. Growing up in the Texas Panhandle, we could drive 5 hours, and we're in like Taos, New Mexico. Taos, New Mexico had Colorado style skiing in New Mexico.
Okay.
It's great. We could go to Taos. We could drive up Saturday morning early, get there when the slopes open, ski all day Saturday, all day Sunday, have one hotel room Saturday night, drive home. We could do the whole weekend, gas, one hotel room, lift tickets, and food for $100. Lift tickets were $25 at Taos in 1988, and I thought that was extortion. Like, I'm not paying $25 for a lift ticket. Yeah, 2-day lift ticket, $50, and I thought that was crazy extortion. It's like,
right.
Wow.
I know, it's amazing how our brains have to shift in that kind of situation.
Oh gosh.
So if we could go back in time, Chance, what would we have done? Now, again, let's put ourselves in the exact situation. The trip's in a month. We really want to go. This is 17-year-old Chance, 18-year-old Chance. Might not have all our brain chemistry firing on all cylinders quite yet.
Oh, no.
Would you have done anything differently?
Looking back on it now, I'm going to say, yeah, I probably should have. But 17-year-old Chance, he did. I mean, his tank had a hole in it somewhere. I mean, it was like, he was not all home. So he probably wouldn't have done it different. If I would have went back in time, knowing what I know now, back then, I still would have come up with a way to do it because I would have outsmarted the now me, even though I'm back there. 17-year-old Chance was just this genius in his own mind. So he probably still would have done something stupid. If I had now what I know and I was back at 17, I would have found a way, or I just wouldn't have went. I'm like,
you would have found a way to pay cash, not to
I would have found a way to cut a deal, pay cash, do something. I would have got it done because when you're 17, you're indestructible and you're snow skiing with the buddies. Like, you can go snow skiing on a church trip and do stupid crap because God's going to be there. You're not going to get hurt.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, no, at 17, you're invincible.
Oh yeah.
Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. Every single sentence, when you're 17, every single statement starts with "hold my beer."
Yeah. It's so true. I love it. It's and I think one of the things that I see today, and this is not a knock on my male clients because my female clients know how to spend money on stupid also, but that mentality for some reason it is continuing later on in life versus maybe by 21-year-old Chance had it better together. I'm working with people in their 40s and we still don't have that particular mentality of, oh, I don't want to owe somebody money. I should pay for this outright in cash. This isn't something that requires an emergency loan or something to that effect. So the thought process, the methodology is not, we're not moving as far beyond the 17-year-old mentality as I'd like us to be at this stage.
Yeah. And it's normal. It's normal for everybody that I can meet the payments. I'll always have a car payment. For heaven forbid, I'll ever get the house paid off. I'll always have payments for everything. It's normal to do this. And to add to that, on us guy side, more times than not on the guy side, it's a measure of accomplishment. The more we spend, the more we do. We're the fixers, we're the doers, we're the providers. We kill it, we drag it home. We're the ones that, when I talk to my clients in our meetings, what kind of emotions does this cause you? Almost always it's anger and frustration. On the wife side, it's always fear. I'm scared, my security gland. I want to be safe. Us guys, we just want to kill it and drag it home. Now, what do we do with it when we get it there? I don't know. Well, we got it. Now, how do we pay for it? I don't know. we're all about the accomplishment. We're
Mhm.
we're gonna conquer that mountain. We're gonna climb Everest, and not, to heck with the consequences.
Yeah.
That's almost all us guys. That's how we do it. And if it's normal in society, shoot, it's all the better. I got to
Right.
try even harder now because everybody else is doing it. So I'm going to be in debt more than you because I want to prove my worth.
I
But
know the Instagram, the Instagram, the FOMO, that gen, I hesitate to call it a generation because at this point it's so perversive
yeah,
through most of the population. And I'm considered an old millennial. So from the old millennials on down, we are all guilty of it in some way, shape, or form. And the social media aspect it's just the highlights.
yeah,
And
I
it's
know.
really scary when we're trying to keep up with everyone's highlights. And I know people have heard this before here and they've heard it everywhere else on good podcasts and whatnot, but those are just highlights and we have to stop. And the other thing that I'm finding, I don't know if you find this, but particularly with male clients, having the ability to ask for help or say, I killed it, I brought it home, and you're right, I have no idea what to do with it now.
Mm-hmm.
And having that ability to say either to their wife or to their female financial coach, their mother, whatever their situation is, but being able to say that out loud and saying, I need help in this area. And guess what, guys? Like, we're not here to coach you. We don't want to be, Chance and I do not want to be coaching you 5 years down the road. That is a failure to launch. That
Yep.
means we have not done our job as coaches.
Yep.
I've worked with some people for over 2 years. It's been very specific situations, job changes, retirements, kids in college. But 5 years, I mean, we got to get you out of the nest at that point. But
Oh, yeah.
what do you think it is about how it's hard for guys to ask for help in the here and now?
It's just the pride that we have. The more we do, the more we accomplish, the better we look to our friends. Our wife is going to love us more. We have more intimacy. It's going to be great. And that's what we want. We want the physical, the touch of our wife. We want the accomplishments with the guys, the chest bumps at the bar. And that's what we want. And if I ask for help, I'm weak because you didn't ask for help. You're doing financially stupid worse than I am, but you didn't ask for help. If I ask for help, I'm weak. I get into clients' meetings with the wife who is able to get the husband to show up in the session, the free session. We're talking, and I'm able to convey to the husband non-condescendingly way. But do you see what your wife, how she just expressed all this fear that she has? Dude, this isn't an attack on you. She's literally scared because the money's running out and she wants to feel secure in the house that you provide.
Right.
And when the guy feels that and a third party is able to tell him what his wife just said, and she's over here doing this and she's crying because she couldn't tell him, and his eyes open up, he gets humbled just like a kid. Just like, oh my gosh, whatever you need, let's do this thing. It just takes a third party to say, look, this is what your wife is going through and she's scared. And I'm not hating you because I'm a guy too.
Right.
Been there.
And the third party aspect of what we do, I'm telling you, I've had clients who I did a full year coaching with, and then we meet quarterly or maybe whenever they need to see me or whatever. And the feedback of having somebody else just look at your budget and say, when did you guys start spending $2,000 a month eating out?
Yeah.
When we stopped working together, it was down to like $750, and you're talking about a big family, but and sometimes we've got our blinders on and we really need that second set of eyes, that third set of eyes, whatever situation you're in, to be able to say, that car insurance looks a little high. That entertainment looks a little high considering we're still paying off some debt. We're still in our debt snowball, and what would it look like if we made changes to that? So, I mean, sometimes our job is just second set of eyes, third set of eyes, and accountability.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. Chance, thank you so much for sharing everything with us today. I love the ski trip story. That is fantastic.
I don't.
And I like how you admitted that 17-year-old Chance would still have gone on that trip for sure.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
Yeah. He's stubborn.
Yep, absolutely. I heard the current Chance is pretty stubborn as well too. So
that's the word on the street.
Thank you for your honesty today, Chance, and sharing your financial blunders. Everybody join me again next week for another episode of Lessons Learned, the dumbest thing I've ever done with money. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, and you can reach our guest, Chance, today. All of his contact information is in our show notes. Thanks again for joining me, Chance.
Hey, thank y'all. See you later.